Hi, my name's Jacob. I'm the course leader for Government and Politics here at Monoux. We do A-level, so there is AS and A2. In the first year, politics is the study of who runs Britain. So it's a study of power in British society and who has that power. So we don't just look at politicians, we look at ordinary people and how much power they can have through things like voting and the official political process, voting for MPs, writing to MPs, lobbying Parliament and things like that. But we also look at unofficial ways that people can get their say, so through, for example, protests, and we bring in things like the anti-tuition fees protests, the anti-war protests of 2003, and we ask whether protests can really have any influence, any power, and ultimately we ask whether Britain is really a democracy. So we look at our voting system. Does that actually give people the chance to influence what goes on? In the second year, we ask very similar questions, but about America. So we look at the differences between the British and American systems, the fact that in America they have a president rather than a prime minister who is directly elected. So people vote not for the party in America, but for an individual, and that has important differences. We also look at how American people have different political views to British people. So how, in some ways, Britain and America can seem very similar societies, but in fact, Americans have very different views on things like healthcare, for example. So we look at the recent healthcare reform, which President Obama, tried to pass, and we look at why that was so unpopular in America, even though the reforms were not anything like the NHS that we have here. There's a number of other good things about the course, and one of the main ones, is the extracurricular activities. We have a lot of different opportunities for extracurricular activities. I run a political discussion society where we can talk about some of the issues that we don't get to talk about with the course maybe. So for example, this year we looked at religion, we looked at the role of religion and morality, we looked at the financial crisis, some of the causes of that and some of the consequences. We looked at America and America's role in the world, and we looked at human rights as well. So that's a good opportunity which gets you involved in learning about current affairs, learning some discussion and debate skills and things like that. We also have a number of trips. We have a trip to Parliament where students get an official guided tour of Parliament by staff employed by Parliament, and that's always very interesting. Get to learn some of the history of Parliament, how it operates, get to go into the House of Commons and the House of Lords, see the grandeur, learn about the history, learn about the rules and regulations. That's always a good trip. We also had a trip to the Department for Work and Pensions, which was an excellent trip. Students got to role play carrying out a spending review. So they imagined that they were in charge of a certain number of billions of pounds, and they had to decide how to save a certain amount of money. The students were divided into groups. One group looked at housing, they looked at how to reduce housing benefit. Other groups looked at pensions, and then students had to present their ideas to a panel of civil servants, top civil servants working for government, and a winner was judged, and the 4 students in the group that won actually got to do work experience at the Department for Work and Pensions, which is the biggest spending government department, which was an excellent opportunity for them. In terms of progression, politics can take you into a number of places. A politics degree can take you into working for the government, for example, as a civil servant, working for the Ministry of Defence or the Foreign Office, something like that. We had a speaker in this morning talk to our students about those kinds of options. The government departments all do internships. They recruit people studying politics degrees. Another popular route is to do politics with something like economics and then go and work for a bank, advising them on where to invest their money, because banks need to know about the political situation in different countries before they're willing to part with their cash. We also get a lot of people going into journalism after doing politics degrees, after doing politics A-levels, then politics degrees. Journalism's a popular route, current affairs journalism or popular journalism. And the research and analytical skills that you get from politics prepare you well for all kinds of jobs like research, management, marketing, public relations, So there's lots of different options. So ultimately, I'd say that the students who do politics really enjoy it. I think it's one of the courses where students tend to say it's their favourite subject. We've had very, very good feedback from students. Each year we have a lot of students who don't necessarily pick politics as one of their main subjects. They're interested in it, they don't know much about it, but then they almost always continue to the second year, and quite a lot of them go on to study politics at university, even if they didn't think they'd be interested in it to start with. So it is an interesting, engaging subject. Students tend to enjoy it, and it's also well respected by universities. So I think it's a very good option for you to do.